Gary Wilson, he is definitely one of the most unique musicians ever. Uh, this is probably the first ranking of all of his albums on YouTube. I have yet to find another one, so there's that. But yeah, today I had to make this template since there wasn't one. But this is all of his studio albums, and I'm including Another Galaxy and uh, Invasion of Privacy. This is unscripted. So yeah, let's get into this. Starting with his first ever release, the Another Galaxy EP, which this is my favorite jazz album of all time. It opens with Another Galaxy, a very funky track, and then it takes a turn. It makes Eric Dolphy look tame. This is a very, almost creepy album just for how weird it is. Almost reminds me of some places it reminds me of Trout Mask if it sounded jazzy instead of bluesy. Uh Study for Three, Softly the Water Flows, and probably my favorite song off of this album, Hate and Depression. Definitely a fun listen, a very spooky one at that. But yeah, just a great album. Again, my favorite jazz album ever made. Uh Almost moments on here that remind me of this may be a stretch, but instrumentally at least, uh Black is the Color of My True Lover's Hair by Patty Waters, which I guess you could say, well, they're both avant-garde, yeah, but whatever. My video, whatever. Uh but anyway, let's get into the his first album, You Think You Really Know Me, and this is an Easy S. This is a psychedelic sexual album. You Keep On Looking, 6.4 equals Make Out. When You Walk Into My Dreams, Cindy, You're Too Good to Be True, Groovy Girls Make Love at the Beach, I Want to Lose Control. Even the title track is great, Chromium Bitch. This is just a wonderful album, really. I love this album. I first heard this when I was like 16, 15, 16, whatever. And I just adore this album. Really, all of his music, but this was like life changing for me when I first heard it. But yeah, it's just a great album. There is nothing like it. Like what that person said in the documentary, it sounds like Steely Dan on crack. As if Steely Dan wasn't already doing enough crack, but yeah, this is just an excellent album, really. I even own it on vinyl, because it's so good, really. The dream is to own every Gary Wilson album on vinyl, but Anyway, his third release, 1980s Invasion of Privacy, is another S tier album. This album is very rock and roll influenced, and I love it for that. You Were the First, probably his best song in my opinion. Debbie Knows, Chromium Bitch. Again, this album has a different version of it. Cindy, just great stuff. I think these three records here are like the holy trinity of Gary Wilson, in my opinion. Not to downplay. Oh wait, there's another album which is S tier, but we'll get to that. But really, these three are great. And then he would go on hiatus and wouldn't make an album, which this album is mainly older songs he's done, so it's not new material for the most part. But 2003's Forgotten Lovers, which is an easy A tier for me. It is used with live instruments. Because if you didn't know, Gary would his sound would become very like electronic, almost sound like if he was using toys. But this album has In the Midnight Hour, New York Surf, It's So Sad to Be Alone, Soul Travel, Another Galaxy, which is just excellent. You Took Me on a Walk into My Mirror. Just a great album. I don't really listen to this album as much as I used to. I really just go back to Another Galaxy, but it's a good album. And I sort of wish he had more albums where he used live instruments, but no, I'm fine with either. Now next would be, in my opinion, his magnum opus. That is 2004's Mary Had Brown Hair, and this is an easy S. This album is just it's I don't even know where to start. It feels if like this is a classic album right here. All the songs are just classic. Debbie Debbie, Linda Wants to Be Alone, Newark Valley, which actually might be his best song. Gary's in the Park. Gary Saw Linda Last Night again. And like Gary Wilson's guitar playing reminds me a lot of Shuggy Otis from the Brothers Johnson. He plays like a lot like weirdly like a soul player, and it really shines here on this album. Even all the interludes are fun to listen to. They're creepy, they're entertaining. This album's versions of 6.4 equals Makeout and Chromium Pitch are great. It's just a amazing album, and I think that that's probably where he peaked musically, in my opinion. Next up is an album I I definitely forget that this album exists. I think because it's not really on anything. But Lisa Wants to Talk to You. Sandy and Mary You Won't Dance for Me and Run Through the Woods are excellent tracks, and I think they carry this album. I think the thing about this album is that it doesn't sound like the rest of like it has the electronic, but it doesn't sound like Mary Had Brown Hair. It doesn't sound like Electric Endicott. Like, not that it's radically different, but there's the pianos that are used here and stuff, and the synths just sound a bit different. So it's not bad or anything, but I think just pointing that out. This album is a B tier album for me, just because I don't really go back to it. Really, I think because since it's not on streaming, it's uploaded on YouTube and weirdly enough SoundCloud, I believe. But it's like, because if you want to listen to one, you have to listen to the whole album because the way it's uploaded, and it's like, I really just returned to those three aforementioned tracks. It is also sandwiched between two great albums. This next one being Electric Endicott, which is, in my opinion, I prefer it over Forgotten Lovers, actually. Really, it's a chill album. Like, his music is very upbeat, but here, it is just chill. Like Secret Girlfriend, Where Did My Duck Go? Please Don't Break My Heart Today. Where Are the Flowers? Title track, if I didn't mention that. Just great album. I really like this album a lot, and I think that this is just great, album. Next, however, is probably his most okay album. This album is not bad by any means, but I think this album is just, it's okay. That is 2011's Feel the Beat. Um it is sort of like, it's just not memorable for me, at least. Not to downplay it or anything. I really like, I like this album. There is no bad Gary Wilson albums, but um I just think, he has better stuff aside from the title track. Uh I really don't listen to this. Not bad or anything. I sort of just don't care for it as much, especially cuz the album that is next is Alone with Gary Wilson. And I think this album can easily be an S, but I'm going to put it in A. I feel like it's nipping at the toes of being an S tier album. This is probably my favorite modern Gary Wilson album, actually. Um, Alone with Gary Wilson is just a great album. Uh, Called Me on the Phone Last Night, Let's Walk into a Dream, Chromium Clown, Every Night is Friday Night, A Thousand Trees Were Dancing in the Dark, Please Don't Make Me Cry Tonight, I Really Dig Your Smile, Sea Cruise, I'll Do What It Takes. Just a great album. Again, if, almost S tier, but I feel like putting that on the same level of Mary Had Brown Hair is just not wrong, but, for lack of better words, it feels a bit wrong to put it there. Although it's a fantastic album, I guess almost S tier. Almost S tier. But next is another album which I kind of forget about. It's Friday Night with Gary Wilson, which will go in the B tier. Because just because I don't really come back to this album either, but I'd say it's a bit more memorable than Feel the Beat in my opinion. You Are the Coolest Girl Tonight, I'm going to Take You into 1,000 Dreams, like a scene from a movie long gone, which is probably my favorite off the album. You Make Me Feel My Misery. Sometimes I Cry Late at Night. Just a good album for the most part, at least. Like, not that it's bad, it's just kind of like forgettable in my opinion. I would put this in C, but the tracks I like off of them really stand out to me in my opinion, so I say it's barely a B tier album. Next, however, is an album which I'm confident can go in the A tier. The Christmas album. It's a very just joyful album. It's a very playful album, and I like that, 'Cause sometimes you just want something that's just nice. This is nice. It's nice to listen to. I saw Santa Dancing in the Dark. Probably my favorite lyric he's ever said. He said that Santa was doing the twist. Something really only Gary Wilson can come up with. Um, she danced near the frozen lake. Great, instrumental piece. Uh, what else? Santa Claus is coming to my lonely town. It's snowing in Endicott. Cindy Wants to Cry. Great album. Very fun. This next one is, I'm sort of, actually, I think this can go in B. Let's Go to Outer Space album is, pretty good, in my opinion. In fact, I think, almost A material right here. But, I think what holds us back is that there's some, not as memorable tracks. But Gary Kissed a Mannequin, Lost in a Mystery, Gary Feels Cool, The Girl from Mars, Let's Go on a Walk Tonight, I'm Not Ashamed, I Want to Cry. My Beautiful Wife Walked Away is probably the best song off this album. And, definitely is just a highlight in general out of all of his songs. But yeah, next up is 2019's The King of Endicott. And I think this is a strong album, really. My only problem with it isn't really a problem with the album itself. It's just I haven't really listened to it as much as other albums. I've sort of neglected this album a bit, and yeah, it's again great album. Like The Town of a Thousand Lights, The Lonely Park, I Think I'm Falling in Love, title track, I Don't Want to Be Alone, I Dream of My Secret Girl, A Perfect Day in Endicott, which again highlight here. Um, just a great album. Although in well, I'll get to the point I was gonna make in a bit when we get to it, because right now, next album is Fake News Trending, a collaboration album with R. Stevie Moore, which I like this album quite a bit actually. It's the quirkiness of R. Stevie Moore combined with the weirdness of Gary Wilson, and it's great. It's a unique album. Um, Hey Gary, have you seen my girl? Space Down. It's Friday night. Uh, are probably what I listen to the most, but like other than that, I like the album. Just like the idea of Gary Wilson and R. Stevie Moore coming together. It's something that's like, two geniuses coming together is something like I feel like it's something you could only dream of, but like it happened. Sort of like how MF Doom and Cool Keith collabed like twice. It's like these two great minds on the same song is just you'd only dream of that happening, except it did happen. And I like this album. I think I should listen to this more just cuz I like both artists. Although it's been a while since I've listened to some R. Stevie Moore, so I gotta get back on that actually, and probably do a tier list of that. Next is Tormented, which I always compared it to the King of Endicott, I guess, because the red and blue album covers, Juxtaposition or whatever. Um, and I gotta say, I personally enjoy Tormented more just because I listened to it. Um, both albums are great, but I always found these albums, to be similar in some way. But Tormented is again just good. It's the Sin Eater, Merry Go Round, which again interlude, but cool track. Midnight and You, uh, Where Did You Go? Tormented, A Sad Town. Just like even the interludes are cool, and I like it. I like this album. Next up is his latest release, The Marshmallow Man, which, in my opinion, it's an alright album. I like Midnight Dreams, The Silver and Beautiful Trees, The Lonely Bird. I heard a ghost cry. Other than that, I don't really return to this a lot, but it's a fun album. I think B tier. I don't really return to it a lot, but it's a fine album, really. And that concludes the tier list. This is all my opinion, but I think this is a pretty, fine tier list if I say so myself. I think I got everything down right. But thank you for watching. If you have any uh what's it called? I'm curious what your ranking is, if there's anybody even watching this. Just because, again, I haven't really seen any Gary Wilson fans online, so yeah, I am curious to see what other people think. Is my list like a hot take? Is it not? But whatever. Thank you for watching.